Okay, we'll continue on with the same picture. This time we're going to start bringing in text and drawn elements and that sort of thing and adding to it and building up on the layers. So the first lot of work you did with the auto tracing, I've got one here. So I'm going to just grab a portion of this auto trace, copy it, jump into Photoshop, and if I paste it, it's going to come up as a smart object. There we go, paste, or Command V, smart object, okay. It's pretty small, so I can scale it up. Bring it in about here, and I'll hit return. So we've got that. It's going to start to get a wee bit hard to see what's going on unless I put a color in the background. So I'll go right down the bottom, click on this bottom layer, and I'll go solid color. I'll choose white. What I like to do is once I've dragged this down the bottom so it's below this background image, at this point, if I click on that bottom one, if I go again to a solid color layer or adjustment layer, now because it sits underneath that other image, I can actually just scroll through the colors and find something that I think is going to work pretty well. I'm just going to go for a color like this. I'll go okay. I can leave that white layer there, or I can delete it off. Doesn't really matter. I'm still not so happy with the color of Henry's t-shirt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here, make a layer above him, put it on a clipping mask, and oh yeah, I've already got a yellow color here like the t-shirt. I'm going to set this to color, and I'm just going to paint over his sweatshirt. A little bit rough, but I won't be too fussy. And at this stage I can play with these layer settings. That's not too bad, the linear burn. That's pretty good. Hard light. Hue is quite good as well. I might go to linear light and see if I can dial down the opacity slightly. So it's still yellow, but it's a slight variation on it. Now we've got this array of lines sitting over the top, but obviously it's not looking so great on Henry. So I'm going to come down to, actually I'll go to the channels. We've got that mask. Henry, I'll click on that, load it up, back to the layers, and if I go up to our smart object, which is here, and actually I'm going to drag that further up. I'm going to drag that up the top. Now I have an element of control where I can come in here instead of clicking on the mask, because that will basically get rid of everything that's outside of this layer. I'm going to go layer, layer mask, reveal all, so it just makes a blank one, and then that means that I can go to the black paintbrush, just make sure it is black, pure black, and then I've got some control, a little wee bit softer. So I'm going to come in here and remove it from Henry's face, but I'm going to kind of keep it on his chin. X, I can swap it around, that's going to paint it back in so that I can paint it right up to his chin. You'll see with the colour if some of the functionality here makes it look a bit nicer. Oh yeah, I quite like the way that's coming out in the background. I'm going to try that. Go for vivid light. Also, this box here is kind of covering up some of the lovely detail that we had before. So just go on the mask, black to block it out, right down as soft as possible with the brush. I'll make it quite low so I can just kind of eat into it and bring a little bit of this detail back through. I still got the mask here where I can kind of knock things out if I want, but actually, and I will do that. Go on here, and I'm going to get one of my crazy brushes. I'll try one of these ink ones I had before. Blow it right up. Yeah, okay. Back to 100. Yeah, it's interesting. I kind of like it when it's a bit more disintegrated in the background, but has these kind of lines, fine lines coming over the top of Henry. So yeah, that's starting to become a bit more interesting. If we jump back to Illustrator for a moment, we can do the same thing. Grab a few of these lines. I'm actually it's the white arrow. I'm grabbing these ones that don't really have the blend. So if I copy those back to Photoshop, and I'm going to come right down here below the blue, paste Smart Object, let's put it in there, and this I'm going to really scale it up. Put that there. We can add layer mask, stick a layer mask on there, and this will let me go in with a more regular paintbrush. Left arrow key to make it a bit smaller. And I can start to edit some of these lines out that I don't really want. I'd leave the line going down like that. So it's just some of these, again, these details. Do I want the line going all the way through? No, it might be quite nice to have a block there and the line kind of leading into it. Taking out some of the details, simplifying it down a bit, that's a bit confusing. Through there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use it as a selection device. So if I click on it and I get my magic wand tool, click in here, click in some of these shapes, and then underneath it I'll make a new layer. I'll put it underneath. With that selection I'm going to, and I'll enlarge right up so you can see what's going to happen. If I fill it now, it's a little bit lost there. Oops. I'll get that in a minute. But if I fill it now, you can end up with a white halo where the selection and the lines meet. So if I go select, modify, expand, I'll just hit it with 1. It pushes into that boundary, so it's actually going behind the black line because we're on this layer behind. And then I'll choose a color, foreground color, so option delete will fill with the foreground color. Oh, okay, and it's just the lines over the top of it. This one here. Have a look. Not quite sure why that didn't fill in. And I can do it again. Back up to the actual layer with the image on it. Click on a few of these areas. Oh, missed that one. Same thing, go to the layer underneath, select, modify, expand so it goes behind those black lines for a nice clean finish. Find another color. Option delete to fill it with the foreground color. Command D to get rid of that selection. Great, you can see the color kind of sneaking in behind Henry here. Alright, so I'm going to grab a few more things. What other images? I think there's an image of a van. I better put it up the top for a start so I can see it. Command T, enlarge it up a wee bit, and with that one I'm going to go, actually I might have a go at colorizing it, so I'll bring in the hue and saturation. I'll clip it so it only affects the van, double click on it, colorize, and I can dial up the saturation, change the color, saturation up a wee bit higher, can lighten it, darken it. Let's just have it there. Go open. What else have we got? This creature, whatever it is, goblin of some sort. They're in, and I'm going to drag them down behind the car, scale it a bit. So just simply bringing in some extra items. Now I will, with that one, I'm going to go new layer above it. Going to clip it, and I'm just going to go to the gradient tool. Here's my gradient. Drag it across, and it's clipped just to that. So now I'll go through these options. Usually with the gradient, this stuff starts to look pretty good. Screen has a nice feel to it, and again I can mask all of this stuff, so I can hit the mask tool beside this one. I'm going to do it, so I'll go up to layer, layer mask, reveal all, and I'll grab one of my brushes. I'll try the graphite one. Close that, enlarge it up, and on here I'll just hit it with black. You can see it's starting to let some of that colour through. Let's do the same thing here. I'll put it over the van. So we'll make another layer that's clipped, and at the moment it's the green colour, but it's below the hue and saturation, so it was affecting the green as well. So if I slot that green up just above it, it's not going to affect it. Now I can also go Command, click on that, so get the selection, and beside this I'm going to go Layer, Layer Mask, Reveal Selection. So it's kind of put a selection on top of that mask, and that's just simply so that I can get the gradient tool again. I'll leave it on the same gradient, and I'll just drag across. Oh, to be back on the layer. Drag across. You can see it's just filled that whole thing, but of course now we have it controlled with the mask. And clipped to the van. There's nothing that's overly nice with that one, so maybe I will just do a solid colour of the green. And actually I'll go I get this specific green here, make sure it's all the same. Okay, let's have a look at the van, see if we can put that on. I quite like what's happening now with the van as it goes over Henry's body. But let's say I want the van to be normal when it slots outside this area here. So what I can do is I can just duplicate that, drag it up above. Gonna have to clip these items again. This one here, it's on multiply, so I can put that back to normal. I've got the mask here, so again I can, oops, I need to get a better brush than that. So as soon as I mask this white van, it's going to show the one that's down underneath it. And if I switch all of that off for a second, it might be a little bit, oops, it might get a little bit tricky to try and line all of that stuff up. So I'll just switch this back on and I'll just do it manually. Just come in here with a paintbrush on the mask. Paint it out this way and then go back with the X, smaller brush, and just paint back into it. Hold down, shift, click to get my straight line. And I could go and find that selection for the line. I can do things like this. I can get the selection for the van so that when I am drawing this, if I go over the line, over the selection, it's not going to do what it was doing before, bring in that black blob of whatever sits behind. Okay, file open. So we've got here, we've got this. So we have a look at this type. Is it in the channels? It's no deal not showing us. So I'm going to grab this, drag it in, and actually I'm going to select all, cuss it, go to the channels. Make a new channel. I'm going to start off with white, Option Delete, Command V, Command I, and select it. And then with the layers, I will go down to this background color and hit the mask tool. It's going a bit slow my computer at the moment, so I'll just do it the long way. Layer, layer mask, reveal selection, and you can see that text has now been used as a mask. If I go Command I, it's going to give the opposite, and actually we'll go for that one at the moment. Let's find our goblin. Where's the goblin? Okay, got him here, and again I can go to the mask on the goblin, grab a brush. Oh, sorry, I didn't need the brush settings, just needed the brush. And what I go for, I'll go for I think I had that one before. Oh yeah, let's try this one and see how it goes. Okay, black is the foreground colour, so it blocks out. Make it a bit bigger. A bit too big. And we can see with this one, I'm just undoing at the moment that we didn't play around with those settings. So now if we go to the brush, we can switch on the shape dynamics and angle jitter, scattering, and get something that's a little more interesting, make it a bit smaller. Make sure we're on that mask still. Maybe I'll just click and do a little bit of dragging. Make it a bit bigger, a bit smaller. Open up some more imagery. Let's use this one. So this is got a transparent item here. Bring it up the top. Don't think there's anything on that layer. Command T, make it a little bit smaller, and of course it can be changed to any color. So let's try the green again. Cycle through some of these. Some of the burns will probably be pretty good with this one. I'll go for color burn. Now remember, with using, at the moment I'm just adding in layers, but all of this stuff can be controlled through the masking. So if we chuck on a mask onto this one, layer mask, reveal all, we know that we can paint it out with black. I'll get a regular soft brush, 51, make it a bit bigger, so things like, now we can knock it out if we still want that kind of Datacom stuff to show through. The Lost Cause logo on the t-shirt. We can come in here and actually go to a hard brush, and oops, it's on a low thing, put it back up to 100, and we can clear the arm again. or clear part of it and leave part of it with something on. This thing here, if I go to the box, we've got that mask there. We can clear this stuff off as well. It doesn't have to stay there either. Actually, I'm going to have it so it lines up with that square and get rid of it there. So we're able to constantly go in and refine what's happening. Obviously, there's stuff now that's coming over the head. I can go to here, and I can say, okay, I like the way that lightning bolt ended up coming in and hitting his nose. So I might keep it there, but rub it off that part. I can probably also go into the skull and go, okay, let's get red, a paintbrush, go to colour, have to lock the transparency, and then I can just colour that, change it to red rather than the blue, so wherever it hits the body, I'll try and change the colour of it. I'll leave that blue bit there. So really starting to build up something that's quite colourful and has got a lot of character, and the steps essentially is bringing up an image, and then, in my case I added something to it, but after that it's how do you eat into that image. Remember, we're always playing with negative and positive space. If you look at this image, there's still all this kind of negative, lovely negative space around the edge. Don't try and fill up the picture in totality. So that's what we did. We ate into the image at the bottom so that the negative space was playing in. We try to entangle those images a wee bit so it doesn't just look like one thing stuck on top of another. So the bit that looks stuck on now, if anything, is this kind of goblin. So if I really wanted to, I could go in and start to eat into this. And the simplest way to do that would be to command click on the lines, get a brush of some description. Let's try one of my ones again, ink brush. Let's make it a bit smaller, and then find our mask for our goblin. Black blocks. So if I block it, it's going to let those pink lines come through. And as I go through it further with those lines, I can make it bigger because it'll have that weird stampiness to it from the ink brush. Command D. It's starting to build those images in together a wee bit more. The last thing I wanted to show you with this quickly, and I'll go right back to the start, you'll be able to see it with the blue. I've got a background of nothing, not sure why that was there. So this one looks like it's going to be okay. This one's alright. This one here will do it probably. If I enlarge up, no, that's actually pretty good. So we'll keep going up. You can see a little wee But there, sometimes the images when you cut the whole page, my screen's a bit dirty actually, so I can't quite see it so well, but it's the edging. See here, so if I go to a normal brush, 100% black, I can paint out these edging lines that have come in with the image. Sometimes you can end up with these kind of fine lines everywhere. This will probably have some. If you, the other thing is if you hold down Option and you click on an image, it goes to the size where you could see that whole image. So look, if I click on Henry, Option, click, it jumps me to the full size of him. So you can definitely see the black lines there. So on the mask, just take out that edging. It's just a guideline that I pulled in by accident. You can see the edge there again is a bit. The other option is like if I option click on the mask, you can actually do this. You can select your object and then just go Command-Shift-I, inverse, black is the foreground color, and then you don't have to worry about any lines. It's just when smaller pictures have been pasted over. That one's okay because you can see the black goes right to the edge. This one could have a few little funny lines on it, and it does. We can see it there. So I'm just going to go in and have a look at this. Drag, and if I let go of the mouse and hold down Option, I can click around it with straight lines, which will be faster. Let go, and then Command-Shift-I, Option Delete, which fills with black for the foreground color, Command-D. Any others? These all have full black backgrounds, so they're fine. So really, that's it. So that's fundamentally my process. Eating into the images, I'm always trying to eat in or use clipping masks. So for this one here, a good one as well would be to, you can try it with the head, grab a brush. I'll try it in two different ways. So I'll try grabbing one of my brushes, make it a bit smaller, and it's kind of the same thing we were doing before. Click, I've got that red color over the face, and I just simply go through and see if there's a nice result. I'm really only just looking at affecting the face. Maybe I'll go with that one. Lighten, Option, clip. Make sure it's just on the Henry's head, nothing else. And if I want to give a little bit more around the eyes, layer mask, reveal all. Black is my foreground color, 100%. And take it off down there. I can lighten, but I can also change the opacity of that so it's not quite so strong. So that's it, just trying to build up an image. Alright, so we'll leave it